Hi everyone, my name's Walt Bayliss, coming to you from our home office here in Australia. We have a good strategy to run through with you today. We're going to talk about a few different things. In the last 30 days, I've managed to bring in, and you can see on the screenshot there, over 3,000 leads. So that's two systems there, 3,000 leads in total. And that resulted in an income which has been pretty nice. Now the key here is it's all via an automated system, and I'm going to show you exactly how that works. So you can see the bottom one here. There it is. That was day one, and then you'll see it kind of flow through. So that one will become yesterday's as we go. So day one, day two, and then we flow through day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, and day 7. Closing day, as you can see, was a great day there. So over the period of 7 days, we pulled in over 3,000 leads, and it worked out to be over $50,000, which is fantastic. And then we did that again. So to prove that it wasn't a fluke, we ran another event, and you can see this one here. Again, over 1,000 leads. Now these leads are on our database. These are building our list at the same time as making us profit. So this was the third event that we ran. Still within the 30-day period, and we ran that on a different platform, and as you can see here, the income again, just over $57,000 from that one event. Now again, this is all via an automated system. So we put together a training, this particular training. Now I am releasing a full course on exactly how this works. You guys kind of get the sneak peek, if you like, of how we put this together and how it works. So we'll show you exactly all the different systems there. So we put together this presentation, I guess, with that history, with that proof. This is our presentation, so let me minimize my camera here. And how to add over 4,000 leads. So that was the 3 events, the first 2, and then the third one to prove it wasn't a fluke, and over $60,000 in recurring income in 30 days using an automated system. And I forgot to mention that income is a recurring income. So the products in those webinars and that automated system were recurring income products. So that money will keep on coming in. And that makes it not a bad month at all. So how to add over 4,000 leads and $60,000 in recurring income in 30 days. And even if you've never run a webinar before, you don't know anything about them, you've never even seen them, you haven't even turned the camera on, anything like that, I'm going to show you how you can use that. And in fact, right at the end there, we'll talk about how you can even get the exact webinars that we use to create this income stream, which is really cool. So how to add over 4,000 leads and 60,000. Let's kick it off. I'll run through some different bits and pieces here. Part 1 is the method. Now we use a program called Webinar Geo, which is webinargeo.com, and there's a number of reasons for that. You can do both live and evergreen webinars, and we created that system to be a competitor in the marketplace. We'll talk about that in a bit more. But the next step is the pre-recorded webinar, how we did that, and again, I'll make sure that you guys have got access to that at the end. We ran it with a live chat. We call this hybrid, and that's going to be the kind of the principle behind the course that we release, but we call this the hybrid method. And then we're going to talk about the lead capture in the follow-up. So let's have a look at the inside of the inner workings, and I want to show you exactly how we set this up and how everything ran together. So let me open up Webinar Geo to start with. This is our Webinar Geo dashboard, and this is our pre-recorded webinars. So this is, we've had so much great success with this. Webinar Geo runs unlimited live events. So if I go across to my dashboard, I think I've got one coming up there, but we've got lots of live event history there that we've run, lots of different things, but with our pre-recorded webinars, this is what we're focusing on in the hybrid. So these are the events. It was this one here, and this one here, which is over 3,400 leads between them. And then the other one, which was the second event that we ran, was this one. And then I've got another couple of examples there where we ran with somebody else and had the same exact success there. So we'll talk about that in just a second. So let's have a look at these two events, this one here and this one here. And I want to show you the inner workings of how we set that up. And I guess a good place to start is, what does the registration page look like? So let me just open up an incognito window here. And the reason I do that is because I'm already logged in, I want to show you what somebody outside actually looks like. So this was one of the event registration pages. As you can see, dead simple. Now we've got a YouTube video there. That's me just giving a welcome and an introduction. Now I've changed this to show the replay because now the event's finished, so you can still opt in to see the replay. But you can see it's very, very simple, nothing flash. And of course, we have that included as part of our webinar geo system. So literally how you can have your own recurring income software business, register now to view. Now, initially, what I did was register now for the event at time and date. So I'll show you that setup and then register now. And when it went live, we changed that to show the replay. So somebody can opt in even now, and this is part of the magic of this process. Even now, somebody coming to this page can still opt in. So let me do that. So I'm just, let me put in my name there and an email address. So if I register, even though the event was a couple of weeks ago, I can still join and I can still watch the replay.
All right, hi everyone.
And there's the replay kicking off straight away. I can send questions through and they come through to an email to the main presenter, and those email questions getting answered. So even though the webinar happened weeks ago, we can still have people opting in, still have people watching the event and still be making sales, which we are, which is fantastic. So I showed you there the registration page, and I mentioned changing it, and I promise that I'll show you everything here. So if we were going to set up that same system, that exact same event, very, very simple to do. I click on New Recorded Webinar. Very, very easy. Now, within the webinar geo system, what's really great is I can just copy from a previous event. So I've got all of the file details and everything. I can just click here, load existing setup, find that one, which was your own six-figure recurring income business. You can see we've set it up a few times. Click that in, it loads it up. There it is. So it's dropped in the video file. All I'll give it as a title. So register, or let's do this properly, six-figure business as your own. Okay, so it's dropped in the video file, everything. I'm going to talk about that in just a second, how to set that up. And this is what I would do. So register now, and we're going to choose a date and time. If we want to run this in the true hybrid fashion, what that means is being there live for the chat. So even though the webinar is recorded, so there's no stress in the presentation. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. The no stress in the presentation, the webinar's recorded, but we're still there live on the chat. So because this is our evergreen system in Webinar Geo, I go in here onto our date on the registration page. Okay. Now, because this is an evergreen system, I can set this up to look like it's going to play on certain days at certain times. And I can also have this watch now option. Okay. So now for this particular style of setup, for the hybrid setup, we choose a particular date. So let me grab a date here in the future. So we say, okay, on this particular day, which happens to be a Wednesday as it's flagged there, at this particular time, okay, so that's Wednesday the 11th at 8 p.m. Now, which time zone, all that kind of stuff, you can set that here. Send notifications. We've got built-in reminder emails within the Webinar Geo. So if somebody registers, no matter when, if they register on a Tuesday or they register for the Thursday event, if you've got a rolling series of events within Webinar Geo, and again, we cover that in the extensive training with Webinar Geo setup, you can have these emails. So it goes out 1 day before, 1 hour before, 1 hour after, come and see the replay. So you can set up unlimited reminder emails and it automatically follows up. So let me turn my camera back on and I'll talk to you guys one-to-one. So let me see if I can explain that better. You set up an evergreen webinar in this system. And again, if you've never done this before, we show you exactly how to do it. So you set up an event and you make it look like it's going to be on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m. And it just keeps rolling those days forward, Tuesdays, Thursdays, sorry. So whatever day somebody visits the page, they can see the next event. So you set it to be on that rolling thing. And what you can see on the screen behind me here is the reminder emails 1 day before, 1 hour before, 1 hour after. And that's what I've got set up here. But imagine that. Somebody comes in 2 weeks' time and registers for your event on the Thursday. They register for a particular session at a particular time. Now, they put that in their calendar. Why? Because we give them the link to add to calendar. Now what happens is they're literally making time for your presentation. People don't have time. They don't have an hour to sit down with you and go through a presentation. But if you show them an available time and they choose the one that suits for them, they put it in the calendar. Now the system will follow them up a day before and an hour before, and you can set it up 20 minutes before, 1 day after, 2 days after, 3 days after. It doesn't matter how much you want to set up there. But the system will follow them up. So if they've registered for an event in a week's time, it will give them the reminders at the right time and day, which is really valuable and really, really important. So imagine you don't know, you've picked up a lead from a Facebook ad, for example. They've registered for the webinar on a particular day. A day before the webinar, they get a reminder. An hour before the webinar, they get a reminder. It makes people show up. Then after the event is finished, they get another one saying, hey, come and watch the replay. Can you see the sequence? And it's all automated, which is brilliant. Okay, let me reduce the camera and I'll keep on talking here. So that's our follow-up messages. Now, because we're doing this in the hybrid fashion, we want to be there for the chat. So I'm going to come over here to the chat system and I want to set that to private, which it already is because we copied that in. Now, private chat means I'll be there. I'll be able to answer questions live. Nobody will see anybody else's messages, and there's other systems we can set up along the same line. So the offline questions is you're not there for the chat and people just send you chat messages on an email. So let me make sure we've got all this set in the right way. And again, I'm flying through this quickly, but there's lots of extra training within the Webinar Geo platform. So register now, it was 8 p.m. I think it was a Wednesday. So this is how I would do it, right? Wednesday, the 11th of October. Just like that. Okay? So I've got a title, I've got everything ready there. I'm going to click on create. And it's called 6 Business as Your Own. So now I've got a link. I can start to advertise that out. Let me again grab a private window and show you what people will see. All right, there it is. 7 days, 22 hours. 6 Business as Your Own. Register now.
Welcome to this
and away we go.
Event.
Okay, so let me just very quickly show you what happens if I change that to be a rolling system. So that's 1 day at a particular time. I'm going to be there answering the chat, which is what we did on our examples here. But if I wanted this to be a rolling system, I could say, let's make this a 3-day system. So it's Wednesday, Thursday, and well, Tuesday for this example at 8 p.m. And show the selection of the date and time. Yes. So I want them to be able to choose that time. And let me grab that window back up again. All right, and now I'll refresh that. And you'll see the difference. Okay, so
welcome to this.
So now I can register and I can also see the times and the dates. So this is really great where you can actually set up where people can choose their own time and date, and you can run that on a just rolling method. All right. So again, I wanted to be specific and I want to show you how we set this up. So I've set that up. I've got a pre-recorded video. Now let me talk to you about that for a second. And as we do, I'll bring up our Vimeo video list, which is where we hold our videos. They just give a better quality. And let me turn my camera back on again so I can talk to you guys. Right. So why do we have a pre-recorded presentation? Well, simple, actually. Quality. Quality. Well, I've run over, must be 2,000 plus webinars in my life. And of course, we own the webinar platform. So you would expect that. And what I found is that live events are stressful. Live events are, you're always trying to make things, and you've heard the old adage, if something can go wrong, it will go wrong. And things happen on live events. You know, I've had a webinar scheduled where I completely lost power 2 minutes before the event. 2 minutes before, and I was scrambling, getting a laptop and an external microphone and hoping it was going to run on battery. But things happen. But with a recorded event, so literally a few days before, I've done the slides, and I sit down and I record the full presentation. And if I mess something up, I can go back and edit it. If I forget something, I can put it in and make it, stitch it back together. So what I end up with is the very best presentation that I possibly can. And isn't that what the people who are coming to see you deserve? They deserve your very best. So the reason we run a pre-recorded presentation now, and the beauty of that is that it takes the stress away, and plus you get to cover everything that you wish. I got taught when I was learning to present, there's always 3 presentations. There's the presentation you want to give, the presentation you actually give, and the presentation you wish you'd given, right? And using a pre-recorded system means that you get the best of all of those. So you can set it up, you can run it. So pre-recorded presentation. Now, let me show you the next step, which is in our, so we pre-record, we upload to Vimeo, okay, which is the screen behind us here. And I just want to show you one quick setting to make sure that you are presenting the best possible. Now, again, if you're at this point on this video and you've never run a webinar, all that kind of stuff before, don't worry. I'm going to show you everything and actually give you the actual recordings that we used in these examples where we did 4,000 leads and $60,000 in recurring income. So let me show you quickly in Vimeo what to do. So I'll just minimize that. So this is one of the videos that we had. So let me just open that up. And I want to show you, so this is if you're doing this yourself, okay? If you've pre-recorded, go to settings, all right? And go to the embed section and turn off everything, all right? So let me show you what happens if you don't. So you've got this play bar. See down the bottom? You can have people change their times and that kind of stuff, or skip through. You don't want that. You can have them with the like buttons. You don't want that. They can. You don't want anything on the screen that makes it look like you're not there. The profile picture. Do you see what I mean? The byline. All right. The title. All right. So you don't want anything there. So just come to the embed and turn everything off, and then save that. And what I do is at the end I have this call to action. Okay. So this call to action, okay, is that one there. So what I do is I set that up here in the Vimeo section. Call to action, whatever it is you want to have them do, a link that they need to go to, and then the click now. So when the webinar finishes, what they see on the screen is this, and they can click it and they can literally go to your buy link. Now, I do talk about how to put buy links all the way through your presentations, and we've got this amazing system here in our Webinar Geo platform where you can add media elements and clickable banners. So you can have a banner pop up. Let me show you. You can have a banner pop up at a particular time. Like you might put in a buy button, and you might, in your presentation, your pre-recorded presentation, you say something like, click the buy button right now. And what you can do is have a banner. So let me show you. All right, so I've got this buy now button that I just saved from the net, buy now, and I want that to start at a particular time, so I want that at 53 minutes and 22 seconds, all right, and stay on until the end, and then where do I want them to go, and done. So now what will happen is at 53 minutes and 22 seconds, it'll come up. So in your presentation, when you say, okay, click buy now, here on the screen, or click to opt in, or whatever you want the person to do, you can literally have a banner pop up at a particular time and date. Isn't that cool? So that's on the Webinar Geo platform, right? So what have I shown you? I've shown you that you can set up this pre-recorded event. You can have that done perfectly, how to set it up on Vimeo, okay? And one more thing that I need to show you here in the platform is connecting your autoresponder. So what does that mean? Autoresponders are people like Aweber, GetResponse, Ontraport, SendLane, all those kind of different autoresponders in your settings here, right? You can add in your own autoresponders, and you can see I've got a whole bunch of them there, but I just add in an autoresponder. These are the ones we work with at the moment. So Aweber, Infusionsoft, SendReach, Imnica MailChimp, iContact, GetResponse, SendLane, ActiveCampaign, Ontraport, whatever, ConvertKit, Drip, they're all there, okay? So that when you set up your pre-recorded event and you've got all of these hundreds of people opting in, they're adding to your database. So all you need to do is make sure that, when I say database, that's your list. People say the money's in the list. So even if they don't buy from the webinar, you've still got them to follow up. Sorry, just seeing spelling errors. So we do that in the user registration, in the lead capture, and we just link your autoresponder and then plug it straight in. Okay, so that means that everyone that opts in, you've got them on the list then that you can continue to market. So that's what we set up with this particular platform and this promotion that we ran. 4,000 leads on our database, over $60,000 in recurring income, well over actually, $60,000 in recurring income. And we did it all here. So let me come back to my presentation just for a moment. So that's the inner workings. As I showed also the video setup, the small things on Vimeo, just make sure that you turn off everything so that it looks like a great presentation there. Traffic, where did we get our traffic from? We ran predominantly with Facebook ads. So we're bringing in, we did our targeting, looking at people that were using systems related to ours or, that are interested. We were picking up leads for 45 cents, which was fantastic. So over the course of the systems, 4,000 leads was about $1,600. It's actually worked out to be just under $2,000 in lead cost and over $60,000 generated. But there's a big question here. Affiliates. Should we run affiliates or shouldn't we? And we show you in the bigger training how to set these same webinars up with affiliate systems so that you can have that income. And if I go back a few pages where I show the income shot, and this is what I want to show you guys here, you can actually see that we made, in terms of revenue, a lot more. So in this example, 13,000 in revenue, and we paid half of that out to affiliates. So when we talk about our products and running affiliates, we show how to do this with affiliates, and this is the real figure that we're left with. All right. So I just wanted to point that out for you guys. All right, let me skip through all the way back up to where we are, and we're nearly done. Okay, so we showed you the workings, the video setup, traffic from Facebook, and affiliates. Now, as I say there are some steps to take to make sure the tracking and everything's in place on your events, and I'll cover that in another training session in another video. So this works for anyone. We actually gave this same system to a colleague of ours. As he said, this is Chris Jenkins. I ran with one of Walt's hybrid automated webinars last week, and the experience was great. We had roughly 100 people registered. Now, that's not huge, okay? We were talking thousands, but Chris got 100 people. And lower numbers actually attended. That makes sense. People register and don't show up or whatever. But we made over $1,000 in commissions, and that's all recurring income. So just an easy system, completely automated, and bringing in leads and income, which is absolutely perfect. So let me grab my camera one more time, just to say thanks. So my name's Walt Bayliss. Thank you so much for joining me here on the video. I hope you've got some value. Now, I want to stress for you that if you've never done webinars before, it's easy, and we literally give you the files to be able to do that. If you have run webinars and you're familiar with it, the Webinar Geo platform allows you to run unlimited webinars, both live and in this recorded fashion as we just shown you. So there's a great deal you can get at the moment, and again, as a thank you for watching this, so webinargeo.com is the system that we just showed off, but you can also come over to, now we've got a special offer, which is our presentation pack and presentation success pack. So webinargeo.com/pack, and let me just one more thing show you that. So we will come back here and do webinargeo.com/pack, P-A-C-K, just like that. And this is what the pack has got for you. So you'll see all the details there. We give you, you can see it here, 5 professionally designed slide decks. So we've gone out and got a graphics artist, business graphics artist, to design 5 slide decks for both PowerPoint and Keynote. Each one has got 8 slides in them, to really make sure your presentations pop. The ultimate webinar mind map and cheat sheet, the millionaires interviews, I'll show you this in a second, and oh, this is the cool one, a free month of complete access to Webinar Geo, okay, which is $39. So you get the system that we just shown you. So you get all of that for the $39. So we've got the slide decks there. These are the interviews. My camera's in the way, but you can see them there. So we've got interviews with some 7-figure webinar marketers on how to make the most out of your webinars. We give the cheat sheet. We get and then the free month of Webinar Geo software. So you get everything, and I promised that I'd show you this. So let me just minimize my camera one more time. Over here in the success pack, if you pick that up, you'll also see, so there's all the interviews. There we go. Instantly available webinars that you can monetize. So we actually give you the webinar presentations that you can go and plug straight in to your Webinar Geo system, which we were showing off here. And we give you the presentation, so you don't even need to do those recordings. You've got them ready to go. So how to add 4,000 leads and over $60,000 in recurring income, set up an automated platform, plugging in the lead management in the back, how to set up the videos, driving the traffic. And again, I hope that's been useful for you. We use this system to run our entire business. So we run automated events, leads from Facebook, leads from Google, leads from YouTube, registered, added to the database, sending them the pitch message, which is the presentation itself, and then following them up with our email systems using the platform built in. I hope that makes sense for you, and I hope it's been a valuable session, and I look forward to seeing you inside of Webinar Geo or around the webs as a customer of anything else there as well. Thanks again, Walt Bayliss with you, and see you on the next event.